It was a brother down there that was trying to accuse me of pacification, but I was telling him, what's the closest to being in the spirit of holiness? Aggression or pacification? I'm not trying to pacify anyone. I was just pointing out some things on divine behavior that we should always not only execute towards one another, but people in general. And if the people in the world or in the community need to become better, and if you guys are the examples, then that betterment must begin with you in order for it to flourish into the community. But as long as everyone is at each other's throat within the group, then you won't be able to spread that, I would say, good news or decent behavior to anyone. The only thing you would be spreading is hypocrisy, And I was even telling them that, of course, we have a whole lot of major problems with Black women. And at the same time, we claim that we're disappointed in Black women. However, when we see the Black women that this community is disappointed in, we don't help these Black women who are in darkness by attacking them for being in darkness. We have to help these Black women come out of darkness, because if you just continue to attack them in their state of being, the only thing that you're going to do because of their own rebellion against themselves is encourage that which you criticize. You're just going to encourage it. And that's all that's been going on in the community when it comes to the Israelite community and their attitudes and their motivation towards Black women. When I was in the fields, I would go to these churches and tell them, we need to go beyond these doors and go out there to the people and talk to these people. And not always quoting scriptures. You have to talk to them and understand, talk to them. And you have to listen. How did you get here? What type of addiction do you have? Well, I'm an alcoholic, I'm a drug addict. What happened to you that brought you to this point? Find out what's going on with them intellectually, spiritually. Find out. You have to listen to them. You can't say, no, you be quiet, you listen to me. Yeshua said such and such a thing. You have to communicate with the people. And the only way that you're going to be able to effectively communicate with the people, you have to first listen to them. But the only way that you are going to be able to listen to them, you have to love them enough to go outside of your church doors, and you have to go to the lost sheep. You have to go to them. A sheep that is lost can't find you. But how do you find them? You have to go beyond your institution and out in the fields. And you have to talk to them, and that takes love. That takes compassion. You have to go to them. Those people are not the ones who are in danger of hellfire. It's you. It's the pastors. It's the so-called servants of Allah and Yahweh. It's you. You are the ones who are in danger because you have no humanity on the inside. You're so busy condemning the people that you can't help them. You can't help them because you don't love them. They're hood rats to you. You can't help who you've already condemned. Okay, tonight I decided to go down there and discuss something vital with the Israelite community. The elder who walked me to my car last night under the name Tyreek, he said that it was okay to mention his name. Him and I had a conversation earlier this afternoon, and the young man down there, who I won't mention, the one who had accused me of pacification, I told Tyreek over the phone, I said I was trying to imply that the brothers need to become more humble. And so, I was also explaining to Tyreek that when you are an individual who carries a lot of information, sometimes what reveals you not to be able to handle the weight of that information is your lack of humility, because you need a state of humility in order to distribute that information effectively without offending anyone. So he had agreed, and plus the young man thought that I was an agent. I went through that when I was with the Nation of Islam. There was a brother down at the Nation of Islam in Mosque 75 out here in Las Vegas who had accused me numerous times of being a government agent. You know, but I had explained to Tyreek, and I told him about my experience in the Nation of Islam on that same accusation. I told him that you have to actually be doing something to draw the attention of a FBI agent. In order for the FBI to actually put someone in your group, you actually have to be doing something. So basically what I'm saying is that there was no need for an agent to be implanted in the Nation of Islam out here in Las Vegas at Mosque 75, because the Nation of Islam wasn't doing anything. And that goes for this new developing Israelite community out here as such. So with that being said, I had told him that I wasn't an agent. And because I was accused of such, in order to make everyone feel comfortable in their development, I felt like, yeah, I'll come down there and I'll talk to everybody. And at the same time, I could give some advice on their approach, you know, with their work. And this way, I can explain to them how to distribute the information that they do have and not offend people to the degree that they're actually become interested in what they're talking about. So I went down there, and the young man came up to me. He shook my hand, you know, and everything. And I explained to him, I heard that, you know, you had accused me of being a government agent. He said, man, I didn't mean that. I said, I hope you did mean that, because I primarily came down here so that you will feel comfortable that I'm not. You know, so as we sat down and we got into a conversation, I had got to the point to where I told them what I would like to do is bring up the issue of black women and how you guys can actually get across to them a whole lot more better than you have previously, you know. And so I was explaining to them about the dual nature of encouragement. And the dual nature of encouragement is that we could either encourage somebody to do better, or we can make the mistake through our zeal and our aggression to encourage people to continue to do what they're doing, even if it's against their own well-being. And so I had explained to them that if you look in your Bible, when Yeshua had came upon people who were possessed of demons, he didn't speak directly to the host. He spoke to the demon that was within the host. So therefore, he loved the host enough to come to free them of the evil principality, you might as well say, that was ruling them inside. So he loved the host, but he hated the evil entity within the host. And this is what I was telling them that you're going to have to understand. You can encourage them to do better, or you can encourage them to continue to do what they're doing. Because if you condemn the host along with the evil principles within them, due to the fact that their hearts and minds is currently on doing the darkness within, the only thing you're going to do by condemning them is encourage them to continue down the dark path that they're on. And we cannot forget, in spite of our disappointment with black women, how much we love the black woman. We love them, period. We're very angry at them because we're very disappointed with them. And our anger comes from the fact that we love them and we want them. We want black women. And it's not only because they are of the same community. Black women are not only beautiful externally, but we know the beauty within the black woman because we've had many examples through the many years, especially a man as myself, who is 61 years old. Now, this younger generation, in regards to the young man who accused me of pacification and being this government agent, I believe he's 30 or 31 years old. And I'm not asserting that he doesn't know anything, but due to the fact that I've been here much longer than him, I've had the opportunity to see black women as they should be, in opposition of how black women are this day as they should not be. So you have a lot of Israelite brothers who are much younger than me, who are in their 30s and their even their early 40s, who are very disappointed with the status, with the moral status of black women this day. And that generation, I would say from the 20s to the 30s to the early or even mid 40s, all they've seen is black women who are investing themselves in the dark side or the immoralities of the world. This is all they know. This is all they know. However, instinctively, black men, when they condemn the behavior of black women, they instinctively know that black women are better than where they are right now. And so the disappointment comes from knowing that black women are better than what they are. However, when you find yourself disappointed and hurt, those two living forces, disappointment and and hurt, it cultivates a hatred towards the host because you know that the host is better than what they are currently. So what it is, we get so caught up in our hurt and our disappointment that the information that we carry within ourselves becomes very heavy to us because our hurt and our disappointment has made us morally weak inside, and therefore the information that we carry becomes more of a weight on us when it really is not. We've just been made weakened and made hurt by our disappointment because we love these women so much. And so the information becomes heavy. And so we speak through our hurt and our disappointment at Black women. And when we distribute the information becomes condemning and therefore non-encouraging to the women, because we have lost our love inside, have been compromised. So what I mean by that is that our strong love for Black women has slowly been compromised by the way Black women have compromised their love for themselves. So as we observe this as Black men, you might as well say, we compromise our love as well due to the fact that this Black woman have compromised her love to herself. And so when we come across with this information, our information is compromised through the zeal of this made hate inside of us in opposition to the love that we should have inside of Black women in spite of their current moral status. I hope that this is very much understood. And so we have to understand that encouragement has a dual nature to it. You can either encourage people to do better, or you can encourage people to remain where they are or do worse. And what is meant by that is that the majority of our Black women today, they view us in the same light. And so you have to be careful on how you distribute information. When you see these Black women walking past you while you're out there, I'm speaking to the Israelite community. When you see these Black women walking past them, past you, what Black women need to hear and what they need to know is that they're still loved. Because I'm gonna tell you something. From conversing with a whole lot of Black women, most Black women today they talk this, we're the most hated and we're the most unprotected women on the planet, but we're the most educated, and therefore due to the fact that I have a degree and all of these things, I don't need no one to love me. So what they do, their educational status manipulates them to think that they don't need love. And it really doesn't matter how educated you are. It really doesn't matter how rich you are. Every human being on this earth wants to be loved because every human being on this earth needs to be loved. And it really doesn't matter what your status is, male or female, educated or non-educated, rich or poor. It is love in which we all need in this living journey. So I was explaining to these brothers tonight that your approach towards these Black women needs to be rooted in love. I don't care how they're dressed. I don't care If they're standing there yelling at you, telling you to be quiet, what reveals you as a dedicated and real Israelite is to not allow how they dress and how they yell at you and how they approach you to detract you from what you are out there doing for the Creator as well as them. They're gonna be angry at you. They're gonna mock you. They're gonna tell you shut up. They're gonna do all of those things. You want to know why? Because of what's sitting up inside of them today. But you have to love them in order to help them. You can't allow the hate that has been imbued inside of you because of their compromising of themselves to put you in the position to where you see them as most black men see them today, and you condemn them. Because you can't condemn black women and say that you're trying to help them at the same time. So what we have to understand primarily is that it doesn't matter how we feel. It doesn't matter if you know these women personally or not. The only way that these women are going to get better spiritually and morally, men of morality, the Israelites, the Christian, the Muslims, we have to understand that if love is not at the root of your approach, then it's never going to have whatever you tell them is never going to have a transforming effect on them. You want to draw women towards you in order to listen to you. That way they will see the value in what you are saying, and they will consider changing for the better because you didn't condemn them. When I say again, when Yeshua walked into that dark valley that he went through, he didn't condemn the host along with the darkness that was within them. He condemned the darkness, and he explained the evil principles of these darkness, this area of darkness within them. And when he helped them understand that there is in fact an evil enemy inside of them, and their submission to this entity, this evil entity inside of them, made them enemies of themselves. So therefore, there was an enemy within, in which made them an enemy of themselves because of their submission to it. So once it was realized that they were possessed by an evil spirit, whether it's very graphic or based upon the immoralities of principles of action, he helped them understand the error of their ways. And so once they refused to claim ownership to the degree they separated themselves from this evil entity, then it wasn't their ways anymore. And when that happened, you starved that evil entity within. And as they say, once you resist evil, it flees from you because you're not giving it your attention, your mind to it anymore. And it flees from you because it's starving now, because it has nothing else of you to feed upon. And so when you come at these sisters, you have to come at them in a loving spirit and a caring spirit. And that's the only way that they are going to know that they're still loved by black men. And this is the only reason why we're standing out here. You're not standing out there for yourself. You're standing out there for an entire community. And I'm going to say this, and you can accept this or not. It really doesn't matter to me. But even when you see some Caucasian women out there, what is the point of you speaking of how black women shouldn't dress as such, and you see white women dressing the same way? And the reason why I mention that is because I see a whole lot of Israelite communities inviting white men into their communities, which I think is a good thing, because that makes a lot of Israelite communities primarily focus on the principles of righteousness instead of the Nation of Islam sounding material that we're so used to hearing. So when it all boils down to it, we all need to do better. No matter what community we were forced to consider ourselves a part of, whether it's black, white. I've even seen some Hispanic Israelites. I've even seen those out here. You know? I offer this. A man had asked me one time, and I think I mentioned this in another one of my videos. He asked me, what is one of your biggest fears in life outside of something happening to your sons? I told him, my biggest fear is waking up one day and there are no more black women on this planet. Imagine, brothers, imagine, in spite of what you're seeing today, imagine waking up one morning and you're walking out in this world and your eyes cannot witness gracing not one black woman on this earth. To me, that's terrifying. Yeah, black women are difficult. Black women are loose. Black women are complicated. However, we have to take accountability for that state of mind. We have to take accountability. Now, we're not responsible, a lot of us are not responsible for her entire condition. However, we still know their conditions. We all know what needs to be done better. And the only way that we will be able to resolve this problem that we have with black women, we have to resolve our problems as black men. The anger, the slander, the hatred for them, I've been there, bro. I know. That's why I know that I can speak on this. But beneath all of the disappointment and the hurt, because that's all it is, we're disappointed and we're hurt. You want to know why? Because we want black women. Black women are beautiful. Okay? They are the most beautiful women on this planet. We hate them today because we love them, if that makes sense. We hate their current condition this day because we love them. However, the effects of the hatred that we have to understand that we're not going to be able to get through to these black women if we've already condemned them. So this is the information that I gave to the Israelites tonight. And they all agree with me. How about that? They all agree with me. Even the young man who accused me of being an FBI agent, he came up to me, he gave me a big hug. He said, "I love you, bro. I love you." He said, "No FBI agent speaks words like that." He said, and I apologize for that. I told him, "You don't have to apologize." He said, "Yes, I do. Yes, I do." He said, "I learned a whole lot tonight." It reminds me of the song, I forget who created it. I don't recall if it was the Beatles or the Rolling Stones. I may be way off in terms of the groups that I mentioned, but all you need is love, bro. All you need is love. And love doesn't imply that you're not masculine. Don't get pacification confused with humility. Humility, because the only way that you're going to be able to understand what information to use, you have to become in humility. And therefore, once you become humble and you start walking in earth in humility, that opens up the mind, and wisdom and intelligence comes in. And when you stand there on the corners and you talk to people, and when you see these black women, it's not that you know how to approach them, because it's not a method. It doesn't become a method, Humility and intelligence, trust it. Because when you do speak to them, the right thing is going to flow from your mind and from your spirit. And they will stand there and listen to you. Because all you need is their humble attention. And just remember, you have someone in front of you that you love dearly, whether you know her or not. And when you understand this, then things will get better. With all of that being said, I have to go and get me some rest. But hopefully this was very much understood. And I hope this was explained effectively. But everything must be rooted in love, because you can't help those who you hate and you've already condemned. It doesn't work like that. Love through your anger. Love through your disappointments. Because if you're so caught up in your hurt and your disappointments, I see no reason why you're accumulating this information and calling yourself an Israelite, because obviously you feel as though the information that you've accumulated as an Israelite is ineffective to resolve the problems that we are having with our black women in this community. Do you feel that everything you know is ineffective in resolving this problem? That's the question you're going to have to ask yourself. Do you feel like what you know is capable of making that change? That's the question.